Hello guys, and welcome to this Volkswizard video. Now you can see that once again I've got this GTI from Cheltenham Volkswagen, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to respond to a video that hit the YouTube a couple of weeks ago by a chap called Misha. The video is titled Why I Would Not Buy an Up GTI, and I just felt it was really unfair what was said in that, and I really wanted to make a video of my own just to put things straight, because there was something in there that weren't true or that didn't apply to most people who would be interested in buying this car. And I think it's a brilliant car, and it just felt a bit of a shame that it was getting such a rough ride with Misha. So over the next sort of 10 to 15 minutes or so, I'm going to have a look at what Misha said and tell you what I think, and you can work out for yourself if an Up GTI is for you. Now, if you don't know about me, I've been driving GTIs for 22 years now. I currently own a Golf GTI Club Sport S. I currently own a Golf GTI Edition 30 track day car. I've also got a Lupo GTI, which this car I guess was a follow-up to, although it wasn't the follow-up to in many ways as well. So I probably know quite a bit about GTIs, like Misha knows a lot about Ups. So hopefully you'll value my opinion as much as you value Misha's, and big respect to Misha. I appreciate what you're saying. The big difference is, Misha, not everybody drives this car on the track. This is not a track day car. I drove my Lupo on the track at Rockingham, which is a very technical circuit in the UK, and I was just a mobile chicane. With cars on the track, people don't tend to drive 115 horsepower or even remapped 130 horsepower city cars on track. There were Nobles, there were Porsches, there were Audi RS4s. I kept on looking in my rearview mirror more than I did at the front, looking at the front window. So this is not a track day car, I'm afraid. The Nuerburg, it's a different story, and you're promoting a business there. It's a good marketing tool, and you've got obviously quite a big budget, but as a track day car for somebody who wants to do track days, this is not the car to use. Right, let's go through what Misha said. So let's just have a quick look. Okay, now Misha said that they had an unlimited budget when they made the Up GTI. Well, I'm afraid that's not true. Volkswagen is by and large run by accountants, and they can't just say we're going to put a bigger engine in this car and put disc brakes on and bigger brakes and make it more powerful, because it wouldn't be saleable. It would be ridiculously expensive and nobody would buy it. Even at 20 grand, it would be treading on the toes of the Polo GTI, and it's just a completely different market when you get to 20k. The Lupo GTI in real terms today was £20,000. And that didn't sell particularly well. So they know what they're doing. They don't have an unlimited budget. Misha, you have quite a big budget to do what you do, because you're not doing it like everybody else is. You're promoting a big business that's working really well, and fair enough, you've got thousands of pounds you can spend on your car modifying it. Not everybody can, and not everybody would want to turn this car into a track day car anyway. Okay, on to the price. Now, Misha has a big problem with the Up GTI costing so much more than the TSI 90. Now, in the UK, we can only get the high Up with the TSI 90 horsepower engine. That's £12,395. The Up GTI you see here, this is £13,750, so that's a difference of £1,355. That sounds like a lot, does it? Well, those wheels, go to Volkswagen, ask them how much they'll be. Even without tyres, they're going to be about that. So just for the wheels cost, you're getting the whole car as a GTI. So you get all the difference on the outside, and I'm sorry Misha, it doesn't look anything like a TSI 90. You'd never mistake this for any other Up. You get the 6-speed gearbox as well, and you get the more powerful engine. And what you can't really see are the chassis tweaks. Engineers must have spent months toiling over to make as good as they are on this Up GTI. And you get the bigger brakes. Which brings me on to the subject of brakes. Now, Misha said that the TSI 90 has got the same brakes as the Up GTI. Well, I'm afraid, Misha, you are wrong there. They are completely different. These are 288mm. I haven't measured the ones on the TSI 90, but I did go to a Volkswagen dealer and have a look, and there is a good, I reckon, 30mm difference. So they're probably 256mm front brakes on the 90, TSI 90, and the calipers are completely different as well. And no, I don't mean red. These are much bigger calipers. Okay, they've both got drum brakes on the back, but Misha, you spent all that money modifying your car. You tell us how people on the forums are saying that you can fit up Lupo parts, and you still got drums on the back of yours. How does that work? Okay, so we know that in the UK this car is a bit of a bargain, just only a bit more than a high Up, and you get all the GTI bits you can see and all the bits you can't as well. In Germany it's a little bit different, because you can get the TSI 90 in a lower spec than the high Up we have here. You can get it in a move up, which makes the gap between that and the GTI bigger. But Misha, you admitted that you paid €18,000 for your TSI. That's €1,000 more than the GTI anyway. How did you manage to do that? Now for the engine, Misha said that these have probably the same engine. Well, I've looked at the engine codes on this and a TSI 90 today, and guess what? They're completely different. Now, generally in the Volkswagen range of recent years, if you've got the same base engine but different software, there'll be 4 letters to the engine code. The last letter will be the software. The 3 at the beginning will be pretty much the hardware of the engine, so that includes the turbo and the engine itself. On the Up GTI, it's a completely different engine code to that on the TSI 90. So, okay, I haven't looked into it completely, but from my experience of Volkswagens, that means that it's a completely different engine. It isn't just software. So, Misha, this could completely be a much better engine than the one in the TSI 90, and I'm really not interested that if it's been modified and it's reliable at 30,000 kilometers. You've invalidated your warranty, which lasts up to 60,000 miles, so 90,000 kilometers, and these cars should really be reliable until 100,000 miles. Likewise with the gearbox. Okay, your 5-speed box hasn't gone wrong yet, but they should last quite a lot longer than 30,000 kilometers. And I'm sure they're designed to last well over 100,000 miles. So, you know, the fact that it hasn't gone wrong yet doesn't really mean an awful lot, does it? Okay, another thing that Misha says is that his TSI was up on power anyway when it was rolling roaded, and therefore it's not going to be that much of a gap. The 25 horsepower isn't going to be as big as you would think it would be, because the 90 horsepower was more. And as you said, Misha, these cars will be over power anyway, so this car might be running 120 on the rolling road or 210 Newton meter of torque. You said they run over power, so why can't this also be over power? Okay, now onto the subject of top speed. In Misha's video, there's some footage of him and his friends out on the Autobahn in the 60 horsepower Up, achieving a very impressive top speed of 200 kilometers an hour, which Misha says makes 197 kilometers an hour of the Up GTI pointless. He then later goes on to say that it was down a hill with a following wind, and that was why it managed to do that speed. Well, Misha, unfortunately Volkswagen can't test this car in those circumstances and then put out that that's a valid figure. You can't just drive a car down a hill with the wind and say, yes, it achieved this speed and that's its top speed. That would be false. I could take it up in one of these planes today and drop it from the sky and it might achieve, I don't know, 300 kilometers an hour, the same as a 911 Turbo S. It doesn't mean that it's faster than a 911 Turbo S, or it makes a 911 Turbo S top speed irrelevant. Okay, next I'd like to talk about the seats. These are a bit controversial in the Up GTI because they are just like the seats in every other Up, but with a bit of tartan on them, which doesn't actually make them any better, although they do look cool. Yeah, sure, on a track they probably wouldn't be very supportive. You're going to be going around corners a lot faster than you would on the road, but ultimately this is a road car, Misha. It's not designed for track use. As I said before, it's a mobile chicane. So yeah, I think you probably would need to change them on the track, but you probably need to change the whole car on the track really, because it's just not suited to that. I know they did put it on the track with the Mark 1 Golf GTI when they did the original sort of footage for the marketing, but this is just not a track car. So I don't think 99.9% of the people who buy one will not really be too bothered about that. Now, Misha complains about them having headrests that are fixed, that aren't adjustable, and that's a real problem. Well, Misha, come on. The Porsche 911 has got headrests like that. The Audi RS4 in the bucket seats has got headrests like that. The Mark 4 Golf R32 has got headrests like that. Do you have a problem with those cars as well? Because they're quite important, highly respected, sporty cars. Okay, next, let's talk about the wheels and the traction control, because ultimately they are related because one affects the other. Misha made a point about how the bigger wheels on the Up GTI were actually probably a dynamic negative. They didn't make the car any faster, and he'd be better off having smaller wheels. Well, this car has got 195 section tyres, and that gives you more grip, which brings me on to the traction control. If you've got a tyre with more grip, guess what that does to the traction control? Yes, it means it doesn't operate as much. So having bigger wheels with bigger tyres means that the traction control isn't so much of a problem. And to be honest, on the road, I drove it in the wet on new tyres. I think I saw the traction control like once or twice, and I don't think I was going around corners at the time. It was just too much acceleration in a straight line, which I'm sure will get better when the tyres bed in. But Misha, you've managed to get the traction control turned off, so surely that can be done on the Up GTI as well, and I think it probably wouldn't cost an awful lot of money to do it. So it's not really that much of a problem, is it? So I hope you've enjoyed this Volkswizard video looking at what makes the Up GTI such good value and why you should buy this instead of a TSI 90. And if you want to go and stay at the Nuerburg, go and stay at Apex Nuerburg with Misha. Go and rent his special sub 7 up, which, because it's not one you can buy, you have to spend a lot of money doing it, and the fact you can rent it there is brilliant. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you for the next one soon. Cheers.